Welcome, Sasha. And unfortunately, we just heard that Laurel is unwell and can't join us today, but I'm sure that Sasha, who's a program manager at the Global Network of People Living with HIV, GMP+, will have plenty to say about linking the global with local and back again. So it's just the two of us, and Laurel, best wishes. Hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, I also hope so. Hi, Edwin. Hi, everyone.
So, Sasha, let's talk first about the global AIDS strategy and the high-level meeting political declaration, which happened in the summer of this year, and
right.
the specific targets that will help us end HIV criminalization.
So yeah, this year we've got a new global AIDS strategy and we've got a new political declaration. And in my understanding, actually, it's the best global AIDS strategy ever, being very frankly speaking. So we have a very good target, which says that less than 10 countries have punitive laws and policy environments that lead to denial or a limitation of services. So we have this 10-10-10. And one part of it speaks very clearly about changing, ending punitive laws and stigma and discrimination. So we have a bit weaker language in a political declaration, but when it comes to that particular part, it's still very strong. So like it names the things, it names like including discriminatory laws and practices that create barriers to reinforce stigma and discrimination, such as aid of consent laws related to HIV non-disclosure, exposure and transmission, those that impose HIV travel restrictions and mandatory testing, and laws that unfairly target people living with and at risk of and affected by HIV. So everything is there. I think for us, as a community decriminalization activist, this 10-10-10 is our aim and instrument at the same time, because that helps us to push to get political will for that change. So,
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, they're pretty ambitious targets. 10% of countries have punitive laws and policies, for example, and we're talking about currently 130. But what is exciting, I think, is that the other part of the political declaration is that the 60% target, that these targets need to be achieved through funding community-led networks and organizations. So this target is 60% of programs should be community-led. Let's talk about that and how do we do it?
Yeah, this is also very remarkable. So it says very clearly what is the percentage which should go to the community-led organizations. And when we're talking about the community-led organizations, it means that it's also including key population networks. It's also about women living with HIV, women from key populations, young people living with HIV, and young key populations. So that is how and they should be led by communities, right? So. This is a very good thing to understand, because it means that we actually can advocate for the funding. We just heard the previous speakers who were saying it have to be grounded, right? This advocacy have to go from the communities. So that's exactly what is the AIDS strategy and political declaration is saying to us. That is the target we need to reach.
Absolutely. So, Sasha, GMP+, you're the lead, the community lead on the global partnership for action to eliminate HIV-related stigma and discrimination, which is a partnership between UNAIDS co-sponsors and civil society. And how is this work at the global level making a difference in country?
So basically, global partnership focus on different settings, right? And one of these settings is a justice setting. And what I can say from the experience we had during the last years of implementation, when we were holding the national consultations of people living with HIV and other affected populations, all of them were choosing justice settings, and all of them were choosing reforming the laws and harmful policies. So it is a huge priority for the communities. Also, I can say that the governments who have joined the global partnership and took the obligation to reach, certain progress, they also were choosing, which is a great sign, actually. They all were choosing also justice settings, the majority of them. So that also gives us an opportunity. So global partnership is giving instruments, is giving, clarity how all that should be done, how we should tackle stigma and discrimination. And it also means that governments commit and then will have to report. This is not the only reporting mechanism. We are waiting to have a monitoring and evaluation tool in the beginning of the next year for the guidance for the global partnership, but we are also waiting for the GUM indicators, and we are also waiting for the indicators for the Global Fund, so that we will have the full understanding how the accountability will go, because this is one of the very important mechanisms for the communities. So governments have committed that they will be supporting, together with the donors, together with the UN family, that they will be supporting interventions led by the communities and in justice settings as well. And then we will have to track the progress and see where all that is getting us.
Well, to be honest, this is a huge success to have this momentum, the Global AIDS Strategy and the Political Declaration really pushing us forward, the global partnership. But I have to ask, how do we work with the countries that maybe lack political will?
Well, this is a very good question. Well, first of all, even those countries who have disassociated from the strategy, basically they all have signed for the one of the targets for which is SDG 3. They anyway have to implement that, because this part is actually part of the SDG 3. So even my homeland Russia will have to implement and show some progress around that. I can also say that, again, communities and solidarity is the key, because even in such very complicated countries, what we can see people just who are providing peer-to-peer counseling and saving, women living with HIV from the blackmail, using the criminal article, from the violent situations, just preventing that and supporting each other. That's also one of the ways when you can't change the laws just immediately tomorrow, which can be the case. You still can support each other, and that was what Belarus was as well doing. They have done quite a lot of work before they have managed to change the law. They have done quite a lot of work preventing the cases of criminalization, giving people information, helping them to avoid prison. So that's also can be a way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alexandra, Sasha, Volgina. Please stay with me as we move on to the Q&A portion of the show. Now, I'd like to invite all of my previous guests to come back on, and I'm going to join you on the virtual sofa as I hand over to my co-host, Brianna Diaz.